Check us out on the Purple app, Twitch, whatever. It's fine.
Anchor
I'm sorry.
again.
I'm so sorry.
You freaking double standards over here.
The link is in our bio.
Typical Seth.
The link is in our bio. Just go click on it.
Twink
it is
is
a
in our
very
bio.
cool setup. If you want to see it,
4 viewers.
check our Twitch out because
Robin's
it's
on Twitch. Hi, Robin.
Freaking cool looking.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
There's a whole. We got 3 cameras. Set up.
Seth is in the DM seat tonight too.
I'm in the DM seat, so roll for initiative. Let's do this.
Don't joke.
And
like
you
that.
just make sure you got that camera
Hacker
right
Dad
in the
3,
camera.
thank you for the panda.
Hey, thank
I
you
got an
for-
18.
A panda.
You sent a
Nope,
panda.
16. I got a 16.
Do they have pandas in the zoo down in
In-
Australia,
down
Hacker
under?
Dad?
Do they have pandas out in Australia?
Not
Hey,
like
Hacker Dad,
wild.
sorry I married you to somebody on accident. I didn't mean to.
Definitely not wild.
Eric apologizes to marrying you to someone else. So,
Dead air.
Austin, thanks for the likes.
Austin,
Dead air.
get over on Twitch. What
Austin,
are you doing?
Stop liking us and get on Twitch.
Stop liking us.
I mean,
you heard it
the
here
likes
first.
are good because he's getting people. he's doing the
Austin,
thing.
never mind. Oh, that was 5. The bear, the
Good to
panda bear
know.
was 5.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hacker Dad 3. We're basically best mates now.
How do you feel like you're doing? You're looking over there, Tyler.
It's
You
hard
feel like
for me
yours
to
is-
tell from this angle.
Okay.
I don't know.
Are
Are
all
we-
3 of our...
Are we fairly hot?
Things on the
I know
screen
that
right
the
now?
screen
Top
is-
program.
Kurt's a little
Are
hot.
you
yeah.
serious right now?
Dude, I
pretty hot.
told you it was going to be the
That
Roll
is-
20 screen.
Epic.
You didn't believe me.
That is so cool. You guys need to check out the Twitch right now.
Do you want to give
This is so
me a
cool.
beanie?
3,500
Beanie.
likes right now on
I don't think we
on
have
our
any
TikTok
with-
stream.
You
3,500
could wear one.
likes.
We don't have one with a thing.
That's fine.
3,500.
I can take down if I'm
On the-
hot.
on the
then I'll
stream.
just-
Wow.
You guys
Wowza.
are killing
On the
it.
TikTok
with the
stream.
live.
I mean, you're not
Seriously,
like
you guys are
it's
great.
you're not gleaming.
Okay.
Yeah, brother.
Japoppins,
I think it's the
thank
end
you
of that.
for joining.
We're officially live on both.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Chief
thanks,
Asian
likes.
followed
Let's
us.
do some
Hey.
D&D talk here, yeah?
I think
Yes.
maybe just as a point of order, moving forward, when you're talking to the chat on TikTok, maybe just like slide this guy away. I'll do that. That way,
I like that.
you know,
Otherwise, we are confused.
you know.
Confusion.
Look at this
Yeah.
guy.
That is
On
correct.
Here, I will be focusing that way now with a mic in front of me. So if you have questions,
Chief Asian, just man, you're the real
shoot 'em
deal.
here and
I said it in the
take time
chat.
to
I said it
ask.
here.
I don't
Chief
believe
Asian's
I've
on
met
home
Chief
this
Asian.
one.
You
Tell me
have
about
Austin
it.
You have.
Jensen.
Austin Jensen.
Well,
You-
I
You
love how
doubted
we
him,
say
though,
you
is his
have,
last
but
name.
I don't know if that's
I
actually
don't know if we
true.
met in person.
'Cause
I
he
just
wasn't
didn't
in
realize
the
that was the
pre-Zay.
We've got
handle.
the whole cast of Demi Lich
Crazy.
Diaries here. Eric, Kyle,
Mamie Dactyl,
Kurt,
welcome back.
Who dat?
Good
Seth,
to see you.
Tyler.
What's up,
They
Mamie?
joined. They
is also
joined
here.
last
He's
time.
Oh, wow. Thanks,
The
man.
producer.
Love dinosaurs.
Still talking.
Hey, I love dinosaurs.
Producer.
Thank you.
You wanted to be a
they're all
producer.
Hey, Hacker Dad's over here.
Hey, Hacker Dad.
G'day, mates. What
Shuts
a
out to
friggin'
everyone.
Aussie boy.
Man, just
Just
is it
every-
true? I
every
mean, I
cliche
feel
in the
like
book.
everyone would agree, like whether you're inside the U.S. or out, that just we got slices of the U.S. have dope accents, but the majority,
Why don't you name a couple of those slices?
I mean, like East Coast, all sorts of stuff.
There's the Southern.
Boston.
Is that dope?
I think it's a good time.
Microprocessors. Yeah,
Alright.
it's pretty dope.
I mean, like it's
Yeah.
something
Bagel
that people
lobsters?
enjoy
Yeah, it's pretty
doing.
cool.
I don't feel like whenever anyone's making fun of the U.S., they slip into a Boston accent. You know what I
No,
mean?
It's
you're
always
usually
It's
Cali
Cowboys.
or
Oriole.
yeah,
Cowboys.
or Cowboys.
I
Cali or
don't,
Cowboys.
want to be this guy, but I feel like usually girls go Cali and guys go Southern if they're making fun of the U.S.
I think
Intriguing.
that's pretty good.
Let us
Hey,
know in the
Khaleesi
chat if you think
Casey.
that's true.
Hello from the cruise
Khaleesi
ship.
Casey.
Hey, Khaleesi Casey.
Cruise.
What's
Cruise
up?
ship, congrats, you have a new
Did they go
husband.
to Alaska,
on
right?
accident?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh,
Man, we
awesome.
got so much going on. It's hard to
really-
keep up in the chat.
really think
Heck
that,
yeah, heck yeah.
So
D&D.
we're in the new space.
We're in the brand new space.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
Let us know
Fun
what you
stuff.
think, huh?
Very
So
excited about it.
obviously we need to kind of get some, just sort of tighten some things in. This is
the
the
furry
first
ones.
time we've gone live, so
Truly.
Ever.
it's good stuff. But yeah, ever.
In our whole lives.
Only American accent I can do is Southern.
Do it.
I saw there's a
No,
TikTok.
Lenny.
There's a
kind?
no, sorry, Hacker Dad said that.
Oh,
So I've seen this TikTok going around where it's a dude from North Carolina, and this comedian's on stage, and he's just like, "Where are you from?" Or the guy says something in the audience, and he's like, "Are you from Australia?" He's like, "No, I'm from North Carolina." But apparently the two, if you have a super harsh North Carolinian accent,
Carolinian.
North
Yeah.
Carolina.
So, anyways,
What a strange overlap,
Right?
Like from these far flung corners.
Because you think
of
it would
the
be
world.
somewhere like West Coast America if there was going to be any like.
Yeah, if at all.
Correlation.
I mean, because like Australian accent is kind of like a British person with a Southern accent.
good Lord, what?
Careful.
British person, Southern
Careful.
accent.
Australian.
Show us that. I want to see the steps. It's just to show us a British person.
Cut one and
break it
half.
down.
Okay,
combine
so
it
you've
with the
got
other.
like.
I do a terrible British.
Here's the worst
accent.
thing about whenever somebody says "do an accent."
Then you're
your
like,
brain is like, "I know
I
no
don't-
words at all."
I don't know how
No,
to
exactly.
do
Well,
it.
Turn
no,
into
it's just I don't have
JD
anything
from
to say.
Scrubs.
Exactly.
Throw another shrimp on the barbie for me. Well, that
It's
Irish.
just because like
hilarious.
the British is like very proper and stuff, and then with Australian it gets a little bit more loose and twangy.
This is truth.
Yeah.
This is truth.
I thought you were going to tie this all back to the history of
Hey.
colonialism there and like the indentured servitude.
That'd be what a
and, like,
smart
all the-
person would do. But
Yeah.
Vintage Voltage just followed us.
Welcome,
So
welcome.
That's
good
what I'm
stuff.
talking about.
Hey, thanks, man.
Khaleesi
That's
Casey
what I'm
says
talking
currently sitting in the port of Canada, but we couldn't dock because it's too windy. But I finally have a little service, so I had to say hello.
Dude,
Oh,
that's
the little
what British
service you got.
Casey.
My
You're
freaking
showing
hero.
up.
You're amazing.
Just the
Absolute
real deal.
hero.
Sheesh.
All about it.
Thank you.
Great.
Right.
Yeah, D&D.
Great.
Why
Yeah.
not dive in? If anyone has any D&D topics or questions you want us to talk
Please
about,
hit us with them.
but if not, what was your first pair of dice? What color were they?
Oh.
Ooh.
Like, hook it
Okay.
up.
Can I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I
Good question.
didn't know
Thank you.
anyone. I knew like one person who played D&D.
I had never
Didn't-
met another human.
I grew up in my mother's basement.
I knew one person. Period. I knew
I was
no one else.
albino and I was really good at math.
What is the
I
son?
lived in a bunker. No, so we
Not a fan.
My name is Frazier. Brendan Frazier.
Frazier. No,
Kimmy Schmidt can. I'm just kidding.
I had I only knew one dude who played it, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I should dox this dude. Just I don't know. He wasn't
Maybe
that
don't.
cool, and so like. But at the same time, I was very interested. I had started reading like web comics that were like they'd play through a movie as if it were a campaign. So it was like screenshots from Lord of the Rings, but as if it was a D&D campaign. It was called DM of the Rings, and that made me want to be that made me want to get dice.
That's
and
cool.
yeah, I hopped on eBay and I found these like blue and gold like mixed ones, and I was like, yeah, these will be tight when I meet the right people. Don't know when that'll be, and it took till now. So
There you go.
there we go. That's
Blue
what,
and
yeah,
gold,
first
huh?
dice.
Classic.
And y'all still haven't seen them? They're still at my dad's house.
You got to bring them out
I
for the
haven't
right
even used
character.
them.
They
Yeah,
gotta
belong
be-
to
I do
hero.
have to bring them out for the right character.
We got a chat in
Here we
here. Chief Asian says this gray blue gold resin dice I got from Salt Lake Comic Con back when it could be that.
You're right,
Is it
before the
'cause it's all
copyright.
Before it's famous.
Yeah.
Nice.
How long ago was that whole
Oh,
It's like 5-6
debacle went
years.
down?
I was going to say, wasn't it? Because 13-14 was, when it was the first year of
Yeah,
it,
it was
wasn't
about, I'd say 7
Probably
years
was
ago. almost.
15, 16.
So Chief Asian, the gray blue gold resin dice. Did you like win them for free? Because I know there's some of those booths there that like you get a roll of D20, and if you get a certain number,
that.
you get different things.
I remember that.
I also love the last time I went, they had like these little. It was like Chinese takeout things,
Yes.
and you could buy mystery sets of
mystery
dice.
sets.
So fun,
Teeny
so
little
legit.
ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Kurt, you're up.
Purple.
Just
it? Damn, just like D's lights.
You were
flat.
yeah,
out
these
purple.
lights.
No, they were
white
purple, and they
lettering?
were a gift from my very first DM. He bought us all dice, and it was a full purple set.
Like your classic
That's legit.
solid color.
yeah, it
white
was like
lettering.
it
White
was like
lettering,
a deep
yeah.
purple. Yeah, and white lettering.
Dude, that's
Beauty.
sick.
I somehow
rules.
they're somewhere in my parents' house.
That's
I bet.
so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Love
shout
it.
out to Mike. Thanks, dude. First set.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, yeah,
Love it,
big
dude.
ups to Mike. Come on the show. We just invite everyone on the show.
Conan
Every time-
O'Brien.
Every
Come on
time
the
someone
show.
comes up,
Clip
yeah,
that.
there was this great Conan O'Brien bit the other night. Conan, come on the show.
Conan, come on the show.
Like,
You know what? That is one thing that
There's
like
one person I will never allow on this show.
who
Jerry Seinfeld.
God.
you
What do
really
you mean?
you really
Well, we'll
hate
make
him
sure
right
you're not
now,
here
huh?
when he
What's
comes on
the
the
deal
show.
I hate
with
him, I just-
Dungeons and Dragons?
He's so full of himself. I just want him to not have one place. And
Hey,
it's here.
what color dice
He has
did you
plenty
get?
of places.
Huh?
He can't.
I was gonna say one other thing. It's no. Seth, you're up.
My first set of dice was mint and purple. Actually, it was.
Inspiration.
I'm
Sure
just
it was.
Sensing a theme
Sure it
here.
It was mint and
Fancy
purple,
that.
which is actually the color that Clark uses in like literally
really?
everything. For those who haven't listened to the podcast.
Yeah,
If you haven't
I was
listened
like,
to the pod,
yeah,
good?
Seth
Wake
has a good
up.
point.
Which
kidding.
wake up.
Sorry. I was gonna
So-
say episode 1 of your campaign soon.
That's true. That's true. Love it.
We'll be able to see. Yeah.
Khaleesi Casey. First, this is setting the bar really high for yourself.
Wow,
Khaleesi.
Zers.
Gold metal dice, just out the gate. Were they shiny gold, or were they more of the like matte kind of weathered gold? I'm curious.
Yeah, was it
Chief Asian said he bought the dice, but then he won a minifig.
Hey,
What minifig was it, dude?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Can't just bring
Dude,
that
that's
up.
That's
sweet.
legit. Cool beans, cool beans, cool beans.
The first set of dice that I got, the first set that I bought was online, and it was like a rusted, like brass metal set that was dope. They were so good, but they were
Expenders.
taking forever to arrive because I got them on Wish, and it's
Yep.
Wish is like they're dirt cheap, but it takes like 3 weeks for it to get there.
Yep.
So in that time, we were starting our campaign. So I was like, I gotta get another one. So I went on Amazon. So the first set of dice that I like held as my own were a different one, and they were like a black and gray or black and white kind of swirly
Heck yeah.
white lettering polyhedral. And then as soon as the metal one got there, I was like, on the shelf.
yeah.
That's so cool.
But the ones you got off Wish were decent.
Dude,
like they were good.
So dope.
Good.
They're so dope.
solid, dude.
To this day, one of my favorite sets.
Worth the
And
wait.
like it was good because like metal dice, the more you use them, like they get more worn down and like brandished with the oils in your fingers and stuff. So
Yeah.
the D20 is like slightly lighter than the rest of them are. And
Heck
it's
yeah.
like,
That's cool.
Dude,
dude,
so
it's
cool.
so hot. Yeah, I love it.
Oh gosh, dude.
That's
okay,
like that-
we got Khaleesi Casey says
Hey,
when she
Joshua.
starts something, she goes big. Love that.
That's what's up. I love it.
And they were matte gold. And then Chief Asian, the minifig he got that he won was a Tortuga Rogue. How legit is that?
Pretty dope.
That's
like,
cool.
I don't feel like that's a
Tortle.
or not
Tortuga or
Tortle.
Okay, I was gonna say.
We love
much
that.
like
We love the
Tortuga.
Freudian slip though of Tortuga.
yeah, hey,
Clearly.
everyone won't listen to the
Sounds
podcast.
like somebody has a favorite character.
All turtles look the same.
Whoa.
Like Tortuga.
I don't think you can say that.
Jeez, yeah. You better issue an apology to the
I'm
Tortle
so sorry
community.
Kyle,
Cancel
to the
set.
turtle
Little
community.
First set of dice go?
Yeah.
Which
Oh
is the
wait,
coast.
we got another mention from
Hacker Dad.
Hacker Dad. Their first was clear with glitter. Got it from a DM when the first time they ever played D&D in the 4th grade.
Wow.
Still uses them today.
4th
Good
grade.
for you,
Love it,
man.
dude.
God,
That's
it's legendary.
That is
I
legend.
wish I was
That is
playing D&D
legend.
in 4th grade.
Dude, for
Kidding
real.
me?
If only we'd found it
My life would
earlier.
be so much better.
Probably. Good at
I started
playing.
in 7th grade.
College.
And even
for
then,
me.
it's like
Yeah.
4th grade. That's awesome.
That's so
dope.
legit. Dude, your imagination,
oh,
Yeah, word.
like the crap you
Seriously.
could come up with, like, geez Louise.
And certainly a better understanding
Khaleesi
of story
Casey,
mechanics, if nothing else.
Precious gems dice, amethyst. They are
Oh, dude.
very expensive and they're pretty. The
Aren't
thing
they-
that I hate about them is they're always smaller.
But isn't it more dangerous? Like,
They-
not
they
dangerous.
crack.
They
They
crack
crack.
or
You
they
have to roll
chip
'em on-
more.
You just have to roll
yeah.
them on a special
I've got
pad and then you're fine.
I've got a pair
Yeah.
of opal dice in my car
Opal.
right now,
That's
Go get 'em.
cool.
but I'm scared to roll them. So
Go get them. Leave the stream.
also they're expensive.
Is there? Wait, how expensive is expensive? We got to talk.
In the
start
Here's the
hundreds.
thing.
In
So-
the hundreds.
Okay, I
I was gonna say
believe it.
semi-precious
In the hundreds.
stones are, depending on
But opal
how,
dice.
how nice they are. Amethyst
get
is
'em.
pretty expensive, so that'd be
I don't doubt it.
opal is also pretty expensive.
Listen, I'm just waiting for the Louis Vuitton X Wizards of the Coast, like deluxe dice, like,
Brown dice with gold lettering.
Yeah, dude,
That's so
something,
good.
dude.
There's
That's
some pair of
so
Gotta
shoes.
be like designer, like crazy. What have you? What's
That's
up?
What were the shoes that had the zipper on them? Like,
Wait, there's so many. Which ones? Oh, you're talking about Ruse.
Ruse.
With
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
the
going to be
pouch.
like a new re-release of Ruse, but then the pouch is big enough for a set of 6 dice.
I would love that.
Or
Can you
7 dice,
imagine?
sorry.
The,
Yeah.
the penny loafer, but the dice loafer. No, dude, that would be a big like bid for Ruse to come back, like for them to do that for
Right.
sure.
Yeah, man.
Dang, at that point, it's like
Is
the
Ruse like a
saddlebags
clothing
and,
brand?
like,
Is that?
Yeah, Ruse
I have
is.
no idea what that
They,
is.
they were sneakers specifically.
They're
Their
sneakers?
logo was
they
a
had the
kangaroo.
roach on them. That's why
And-
it was ruse.
Yeah, they had a pouch, which
Oh,
is
like
why they were.
kangaroos,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Opal. Khaleesi Case says Opal. Oh my gosh, those would be amazing. Chief Asian
Yeah.
says I saw those weird flat circle spinny dice at the game store. What's up with those?
Those are coins.
Wait, what
Oh,
are those?
cool, yeah.
Those are coins.
Well, they're the coins, but then you can
You
like
spin it,
spin 'em,
and
yeah.
it has
I've got-
a
those
little
are fun.
ball
I've got-
bearing inside of it, and then it goes over to one side, and depending on what side it's over.
I don't know that that's the one that he saw.
That's a new one.
Those
That is
ones
a
are
new
dope.
one.
I've been seeing
I
those.
saw that.
all
There's
over.
Those are
They look cool
D10s,
as
I
heck.
think, though.
There's some that look like little
It's that
like
D12 one.
decoder
D12s,
ring
they're-
type
Yeah, it's got,
things.
like-
it's like his.
it's
Oh wait,
got
does your
a-
ring
Yeah.
spin?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's got
Oh.
like a disc in the middle, and then you
The
spin
3D
a thing,
printed
and then it
ones.
stops on the
The 3D
number.
printed. That's right.
So it's just the Wheel of Fortune.
Kind
like,
of.
that's-
Yeah.
the Wheel of D&D.
It comes with
Fortune.
Vanna White as well.
or a coin, which is a
See, I was
D2.
thinking
Wish,
Price
a
is
little
Right.
mini one.
So.
Lori and
The
Ray,
better show.
Lorian Ray
you're in the chat. I don't see that you've subscribed. That's okay. That's totally
Oh.
fine. But I see you here.
calling him out.
I am. They had a pair of roos and they could fit like a quarter in there. So
Let's go.
Hey.
Yeah.
some definite reworking of what the roos are like.
The pouch
actually-
is tiny.
Maybe
You're
it's
putting a code.
in the sole. There's like the cutout of each of the die, and so you like line them down.
golly, but
Copyright. Nobody else
like,
can do it.
so-
We're doing it.
But I've
It's
been
ours.
worried
proof
That's
of
ours.
concept.
That's
you,
how it
you
works.
run too fast and then your dice roll out. like
Kyle,
you
you
clomp into those
Deck
soles
save.
too hard.
Deck
Right
save.
then and there.
Yeah.
You
The
trip
D,
up.
if the D4 just popped out slightly. Ooh.
Also, Lori and Ray, I acknowledge your literary reference. I like your twist, your play on words there. Okay.
It's good stuff.
Anyways,
Okay, my first
Dorian
my
Gray.
first set, I definitely bought like a huge pack of them on Amazon, like the one that had like
I remember
six.
when you called me and told me
Yeah,
about that.
Super
like
cheap.
6 separate sets for so cheap. But
Yep.
the first pair out of that I used were the like gray, white, and gold, like kind of marbled, swirly look. It was very nice.
We love it.
Very nice. I enjoyed it. The spinny circle dice that go up to like 200. Is that for damage or something?
wait, 200?
Spinny circle dice.
Yeah.
It may be.
Chief
Can I look
Asian,
this
you're
up?
Are you talking
It may
about
be
the
for like
spherical
a
ones?
item table, because sometimes item tables do go up to 200. Maybe it's.
yeah.
There's the
Something to do with
spherical
that.
one that's a D100, but I don't think that's what you mean, right?
Spinny.
Are you sure you were at a
circle
game store,
dice?
bud? You sure you weren't just at like some
Drugstore?
weird, I don't
The
know,
hardware store?
Yeah, the hardware store, and you're just like, it's this tape measure looking thing. You just pull it out fast and stop it, and whatever number you're on is
Yeah.
the number you roll.
If it hurts your
Um,
hand, then you fail.
Yeah.
That brings up an interesting
tried to
topic,
say-
actually, because we talked about sets of dice, and I know for me, it's been mentioned before whenever we've played in the past, but I rarely play with an actual set. Like I have my huge jar of dice that I just dump out and play with. Are you guys more inclined to play with an actual set? And anybody in the chat, are you guys more inclined to play with an actual set, or can you just have a plethora of die and you're like whatever ones you
plethora?
grab? I'm just curious because
Something- what is
I
a
like
plethora?
just having a mix mash of dice. I think it's fun.
It drives me nuts when you do that.
That's why we don't sit next to each other. Is this why?
It drives me
I hate
See?
it too.
bonkers. I
truly
cannot
do hate
stand it.
Wait, so I hate which? I want to know the T. We're
Because
talking about
he
which.
uses just like a mismatch. I mean, like he pulls out his jar and he's
Mismatch.
like, this
Right,
one,
wait, but you
this
guys-
one, this one, and this one.
Mismatch.
But wait, why do we
So-
not like that?
Well, no, I was just
like
curious.
It's
set.
it is
a set?
I feel
Okay.
like there's two types of people kind of thing. But
Those who like New Diamond, those
the
who
only
don't.
time I've ever done
And
it
binary.
is when it like works with the character. That's why Lenny. I do that with Lenny because
Lenny.
he's more of like those are. I view it as things that it's like these are what he's picked up along his mini
Right.
adventures.
And I
with
have
Zelda.
played
Ooh,
with
that's
sets
fun.
Yeah.
before. When we did
Yeah.
our one shot wonders, I would just play with those ones
Because we'd buy those
because we'd buy them
specifically,
for one another whenever it was our campaign to DM.
Khaleesi Casey sticks to a set. Well, yeah, when you're only buying super expensive sets, that makes sense.
She takes one gold, one
makes
platinum,
sense.
one silver, one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
It's got
gosh,
4 amethyst.
pure
D6.
diamond.
you can't keep talking like that. I'm,
Yeah.
cool.
Diamonds in
That's so
there.
cool.
I'm getting too
That's
excited.
sweet.
I for one
That is
like
awesome.
Kurt's mix. I've always liked that. I didn't know why we were opposed to it.
Yeah,
I just as someone who like I don't know, maybe it's my hoarder brain. I like all the collection and the what have you. So it's
pretty
like, oh, look at all
colors.
these different ones that we have. Let's mix and match. Like that's so fun to me. We like customization. We like different.
I'm like Kyle in like his is fun that I didn't know that yours was like they pick it up along the way. Mine is usually I will create a character and then I will go and buy dice with that character in mind.
Sure.
I'm not a typical D&D guy
like
that's
that.
like I have 6 characters just waiting for a campaign. Like if I get the news that I'm going to be playing in a campaign, then I'm like, okay, now I'll create a character. and then I go to the game store or wherever, and I find ones that fit
Yeah.
the vibe, if you will.
I think I would be
excited.
more inclined to buy a set if I had a long form campaign
sure.
that I knew like the DM was like, hey, this is going to be like a year.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, let me go buy a set with that in mind, and then I'll play with that.
Because
set.
I mean, I bought a set for Tortuga that I
Yeah,
used every
you did,
time.
yeah.
Those are
Heck yeah.
So, Lorian Ray has a very dope thing. She says, they, tell us your pronouns, please.
Yes, please.
They say, I have a collection. I may have a dice addiction. Welcome to the club.
Yep.
I guess it depends on what part of our campaign we're playing. If we're exploring a forest, I stick to my green set, etc.
Wow.
How sick is that? I've never heard of
That's
that.
dope
That's
as hell.
so freaking
Just based
cool.
on the biome.
That is so freaking cool. Ooh, okay. New question.
From
Tamashi Saka,
first time chat.
I hope. Lorraine Ray, she, her. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, first time into the chat. Thank you for subscribing, Tamashi Saka. Oh, goodness, I'll try.
Tamashi-saka.
Would you prefer a ready set or a custom-made set? I mean, I think we'd all prefer a custom.
I've never played with a custom made set.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know if
me
anyone
either.
here has,
No.
but like
Game
I think
store.
everyone would kind of be like, oh,
If I
that'd
had
be
money
cool.
too.
Whatever's at the game store.
This is what,
What
he's
the
talking about.
freak?
Okay, I get you, Chief Asian. Thank you for sending that. It's a spin down. Sorry,
Oh my
for some
gosh,
reason I thought that it was
200.
like
Oh wow!
I have seen those, the 3D printed ones, but I've never seen the ones
Feels
with
like a
200.
math toy that my
woof.
teacher in
does
elementary
feel
school
like a
would make
math
me
toy.
use.
Sudoku sphere or
That's a
something.
good point.
It's the leapfrog spin down D200.
Tamashi
got those
Saka.
little packets. You gotta
We
have.
can call Tamashi Saka Tama. Thank
Tama.
you. Tama.
Tama.
I'll absolutely be doing that.
Tama.
I
Tama,
love
Tama,
Tamashi
Tama,
Saka.
Tama.
That's a dope name. Also,
Ooh.
where are you from?
Yeah. Hook us up with that. Khaleesi Casey says, sometimes I'll do a mix if I'm a high level with multiple dice damage. It's fun to roll a bunch at once.
Ooh,
Agreed.
That's fun.
Yeah. You always love being like, okay, I'm rolling 6d6. Everyone
Yeah,
fork
sure.
over your d6s.
Sure,
Let's do
sure.
this.
Sure.
right.
I've had a
It's a
set
good
for
time.
my
Feels
like
cool when you're
my
a paladin.
animal companion too. Like whenever I have like my player, my animal.
That's
companion.
dope.
Oh, that's
I've done
cool.
that
Yeah, I
too
didn't think about
before,
that.
but-
That's way sick.
I played with a buddy once who he was a barbarian and he had a set of regular dice and he had a set of rage dice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
dope.
Right.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
pretty
that.
cool.
And so he was like, with these ones, I play a lot more conservative and stuff. But then if I go into rage, I play super aggressively with these dice.
Dude, I love
And he's
that.
like, because these dice like to be aggressive and whatever, and get in that whole meta of what the dice want or whatever. But
Oh, but that's so
he was
fun,
like,
though.
and I love that idea of like, and I mean, it works very well for a barbarian, but I mean, I think you could do that with most classes of like, with a rogue, you could do like, these are my sneaky dice, or like, like, I can't remember who was saying it, like, these are my forest dice for a ranger.
With Doka in one of our campaigns, he's a warlock, and the packed weapon. I did that with the packed weapon.
That's
I had
right,
a-
you did do
I had
that.
a specific
That's
metal rose gold
forgot.
D8, I think it was.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So that's a good time.
Mm.
Oh dang, Tama is from Dubai.
Shoot.
Came over
Let's
from TikTok.
go.
Thank you.
Tama.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
Hey.
currently
That's so cool.
Trying to
Thanks.
make a custom resin dice set, but messing things up, but feeling having a custom set would be absolutely awesome.
Absolutely.
This guy really wants to get into
I have
custom
done
making die.
a fair share of research.
yeah.
I've got connections with people. Some of them are in Germany, actually. It's kind of cool.
That's dope.
I talk to them on a weekly basis about it.
Subtle flex from
Shouts out
Yeah.
Dubai.
Over
Shouts
there.
out Germany.
Yeah, subtle flex from our
Yeah.
world travel.
Germany,
Yeah,
come on the
geez
show.
Louise.
Yeah, Germany, come on the show.
Germany.
Why not? Why not? Can
Every
you imagine? Wait a
citizen
minute,
of
hold on. We do a
Germany.
live like
No,
it is
Germany,
a huge
the
performance like an
country.
Oktoberfest.
I don't want
like,
people.
Just
I want
open
the
with
land.
Hasselhoff.
Just the land.
Why not? Why not?
Perfect.
Bring
no, but
down
Dubai,
that
truly a city
wall.
of the future. Like it is science
gosh.
fiction there. It's beautiful. Like good grief.
Custom dice. I think it's
That's when Eric wants us to stop.
Shut up.
maybe we're talking
Just
about
kidding.
something else. I think custom dice. It's so weird because like when I think custom dice, I think like a specific color or something. But I think custom dice. I mean, especially if you're pouring resin or whatever, you can put crap in them. Like
Yep.
if
Oh,
there's
wow,
snow
really?
or whatever.
See,
Oh,
I'm
dude.
the lead. I haven't seen a whole lot of videos or anything about
Get
it.
on D&D TikTok.
Well, I sometimes am, but
Sure.
like
Sorry, I should say get on Dice Goblin TikTok because that's what I'm on, and it's
huge.
people putting little like minis in dice or putting.
Wow.
There's one that's cool. They're called Liquid Core, and it's like a little circle.
I have a set.
Dude, they're so dope. It's
They're
like
amazing.
a little circle that you fill with like glitter and liquid and stuff. And then they seal it, and then they put it inside of a D20. So when you roll it, the inside of it keeps moving.
Like
I saw one
sparkles
today.
and stuff.
I love the
Wow.
idea of it, but how is the balance on it?
I was just about
You know
to
what
say
I
that.
mean?
I was like, I love all of these dope custom resin ones and stuff.
But it's got to.
But at the
be
end
a
of the
little
day,
hard
it's
to make
like-
it truly
Yeah,
balanced.
I feel like
it's-
that's probably a
the
big chunk of.
The liquid core is probably not very balanced. But
Yeah.
like when they put, thank you for the whatever gift that was.
Thank you.
When people 3D print with resin, they can put that in, and it doesn't change the weight at all because it's
Yeah.
resin in resin.
Well, in liquid core, I mean, if it is spinning, it might not throw it off as much.
But if
But-
if it's slightly like lower down in the die,
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, if
yeah,
the core
it's
isn't
so-
truly
Yeah.
in the core, like
Counterpoint
Yeah.
to that, though, wouldn't the people making that have like absolutely refined that like down?
I
to
mean,
It's not
I'm-
it's not
no,
a mastered sport.
I was gonna say
Like-
some of them maybe, but a lot of the people that
crafting
I've
thing.
seen
You have
doing
to-
it are like
you have
pop
to
it in
be
there, pour that crap,
really good.
pop it right back out
Yeah.
because they're making custom orders, so they're like,
Yeah.
Sure, but
Flying
I
through
figure
'em.
after you do it, 100.
Well,
Sure,
that's
but
so you
it's-
get better at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
balancing die is not a
No,
passive
it's
thing.
it's a subtle art,
there's a
not an
science
exact
to it,
science.
yeah.
Yeah, but
And it maybe it comes out in the polishing, like maybe you make the resin or whatever, and then you polish it to be balanced.
I
maybe.
remember there was a shout out to one of the best shows ever. How it's made.
how it's
right?
made. Come on the show.
They did
yeah, for real.
they did dice like for casinos and other places.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And how they make them was gnarly because they put this polymer together and it comes out and they cut them and then they refine it and polish it and all these. And I can't remember how they balanced it, but like it has to be to an exact science.
Yeah.
If it's
And it,
not,
like spins
they
on the
dispose
thing,
of them. Like they
Yeah.
don't even try to like smelt them down
Just get rid
again.
of 'em.
They they're done.
It's crazy. Well, and like, have you ever actually like checked your dice to see if they're balanced or not?
Yeah.
I was baffled at the amount of dice that I have that are
Yep.
not.
I
even
went through
close.
I went through one of my bags, the pound of dice bag that I bought, and probably almost a quarter of them were off balance.
It's
And
crazy.
like, oh, jeez.
Crazy. Yeah, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
Heather says she can make some dice out of paper for us.
Heather,
Yeah.
Yo,
my wife
excellent.
Heather.
Your wife.
My wife.
I can
she
make,
can
a
make dice out
D6
of it.
paper
No, she
too.
absolutely can. She does it for her math class.
She
I
said
was
she
just
could
gonna
make
say.
Yeah.
How's
Let's
that
display
balance?
them in here.
Do it.
Balances
Yeah, how's the
perfectly.
balance
It's
on
paper.
those dice?
She's
No,
a.
because you fold the tab here, and then on the opposite side, the tab's not.
I mean,
So it's
the
perfect.
density of the glue, though. I mean, if you're putting too much glue on it.
No, because
So-
it's perfect.
Just
Khaleesi
origami.
Casey says she wanted to tell us that she's been listening to Chapter 3 of the podcast, and it's been especially fun to listen while on a cruise ship deck.
that's
What a
so
what a perfect
God,
time!
listening
so
to it at
cool.
sea.
Yeah.
What a
So
perfect
maybe,
time.
Maybe for those of you who are like first time coming to our channel, we do have a podcast, a D&D podcast,
Yes.
and the most recent
Hi, Kyle.
episodes
Diaries,
have been
which is
a sea voyage campaign. So it's been really fun to.
there it is on the screen now.
Oh man,
That's the most recent
It's on the
episode
screen
right
now.
there. Truth or Daring.
Truth or daring.
If you guys are not looking
Real
at
good.
TikTok, if you guys aren't looking at
Twitch.
right now,
Purple app.
the purple app we have in the link in our bio is where we are now.
you are never
Um,
going to let
yeah,
him
never.
TikTok
This is-
gang, y'all are missing out.
This is just like some of my favorite art that this artist Bone Dust on Instagram has done for us. Absolutely awesome. I love
Phenomenal,
this one
really.
so much. I think it just turned
Yeah,
out
that
perfect.
one's
Also, real quick,
super dope.
Tama just says, "Be right back. Just arrived at the office." I love the fact that you're watching this while you're at work. Love it.
Can you
Yeah,
listen on
oh,
Spotify?
what a
Can you
really
listen on
can.
Spotify
That's so
to the
cool.
pod? Yes. If you go to
Yes, you
TikTok,
can.
you've got our link tree there, and you can, hook it up that way, or just search for Demi Lich Diaries. Okay, I'm gonna switch back.
Chief Asian asked, has anyone had a character die? And
gosh.
Oh, we answered that last
and
time.
if so, what was the most? Oh my gosh!
Come on, share it.
Eric's had a little
I
bit
feel
to
like
drink.
Seth over here.
Share it.
Most memorable.
Shots fired.
Is this in the?
Jeez.
Is this in the shot? No. Okay, cool. You see that?
Wow.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that you're really playing.
No, it was absolutely in
Clear the
shot.
corners, rookie.
Chief Asian. We've all had a character
him off.
die. On our TikTok, we have a couple of us have a video about it.
That's true. But there are TikToks about that.
Yeah, I've had
Deep.
at
down in
least
the
3
TikToks.
die that were rough.
I've had
Kurtz
2.
has 2.
Yep.
I've only had one.
Tyler's had 1. Seth's had
one
1.
that
You've had.
absolutely broke my heart.
You haven't
Kyle
even
is the only
finished a
one who
campaign,
hasn't
have
lost
you?
a character.
Well, it looks like we got to kill Kyle.
It's hard to lose a
Kyle's
character.
His
character.
character. His character.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah.
Jeez.
Heather, it's
I
okay.
mean,
Hey,
Did you think
Play-
I
can't
died
play
twice?
Can't play if he's dead. So.
Inferno Reeve, thanks for watching on both TikTok and Twitch.
Hey,
Yeah,
Smoking
big
Barrel.
ups.
Thank
We
you.
love it.
It's my life.
Yeah.
Live.
I mean, the most
New PC.
memorable death.
Out of all of us or individually?
I mean, the only one I have.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I mean, Seth's was pretty good.
There has only been
have no
one
proof.
with
You have no
all
proof.
of us, like us 4 players,
Not Seth.
and that's Seth's.
Yeah.
But in
Wait, what?
a friend
Oh,
campaign
shit.
where technically
From
all
that?
of us
I
did play at
forgot.
the time,
Gizmo.
that's Tyler's character that died, where all 5 of us technically
man.
did play at least. Because in the shout out to our buddy Skylar. Skylar, come on the show.
Yeah, for real,
Um,
Skylar, come on the show.
You did play 1 or 2 of the sessions with us, so that was the only campaign where the 5 of us played, and a character died. And that was Tyler's.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. That's tough, and it's hard
Yeah.
because everybody has different emotional value attached to their characters dying and stuff.
Truly,
So
and
it's
like
hard to
why
say
they're-
whose is the most memorable.
and
Ooh,
why their
D&D
death would be
stuff's from
memorable.
J-Lo Fat. Welcome,
J-Lo
welcome,
Fat.
welcome.
Hey,
That's what I'm
Hey,
talking
Fatty.
about.
Come
Hope your
on in
live
here.
went well. Hope your live
Come
went
sit
well.
up to the table like family.
Yeah, you were just.
I
live.
feel like, I mean, maybe instead of how you died, like why did you maybe not why, but like what was your party going after? Like what was were you fighting the big bad? Were
Oh,
you
cool,
just
cool, cool,
fighting
cool.
someone else? Was it like
Okay.
what was
Let's start on this side because we started on that side last time.
I
Yeah,
haven't
good
died
call,
yet.
good call.
Okay.
Cool.
That's like my,
I'm
that's
trying
like
to remember what I
that's
did
like
with
my
the TikTok
purple
like,
response. I haven't died.
I don't remember what mine. What did I do?
I
think
don't remember. Go
about?
look.
NPC maybe died.
My first one, my character pulled a card from the deck of many things.
Wow.
And got transported away to one of the big bads, who was a necromancer who killed me and took over my body and went back to fight my party.
Been there.
And my character gained control of himself for a little bit and sacrificed himself so he wouldn't kill the rest of the party.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
dude.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the winner. And
Real sauce city
I had
bad.
another one was fighting the big bad. That one was rough. Those are the 2 I can think of right now. But yeah, pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I mean,
Freaking gosh, this one is nuts.
we have a campaign called One Shot Wonders. That's
Check it out on Spotify.
yeah, it's on Spotify and on Apple Podcast as well, I
It's on
believe.
like all of them.
Yeah, I think it's on all of them. Anyway,
Wherever-
we
Shout
only
out to
have one.
Thanks to Anchor.
Come on the
Wherever
show,
video
Anchor.
books-
We only have one episode in there. It's kind of a dud. We lost recording.
It's not a dud. That's a
It's a-
killer
It
episode.
was a dang good.
Okay, I was like, that
I was
is
gonna
a
say, the freaking-
damn good
the
episode.
audio was corrupted or
Follow up
something
Eric's
like
story
that when
with
we were
this one's a little bit of a dud.
when
This
we were
one
going through it.
sucks.
Anyway, I had a character named Gizmo. He was a bugbear.
He's a
Gizmo.
gremlin.
Gizmo.
Everyone called him Gizmo.
Not
Um,
Gizmo.
No,
you called
you
him
called him
Gizmo.
Gizmo.
In the first episode, I did.
Hey,
You're
real
right.
quick, while
I
you're
did.
talking about this, shout out to Krill for their song "Green Jewels" that
Yeah,
we use in that
yeah,
podcast.
Krill.
Yes, thank you very much,
Check out
Krill.
the
Yeah.
song Green
That
Jewels
song
by
is
Krill.
freaking.
They gave us permission to use
Krill
that.
is
in
Krill.
Yeah, K-R-I-L.
Those
So
guys.
that's double I, double L.
Double I,
Pretty
double L.
pretty freaking awesome that we got to connect
Yeah,
with
that
them.
was
but,
insane. Anyway,
Anyway, Gizmo was a barbarian bard as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
He had a
barbarian.
Maraca mace that he used, and
That's
he just
right.
he used the percussion of it.
wow.
He used the percussion of the Maraca mace to get
Maraca
him all
mace.
inspired all the time, and so that was really cool.
Did you just say Morocco Race?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maru. Morocco.
Anyway,
Maru.
They were fighting. It wasn't the big bad, right? It was the Kyle would. You know better.
No, it was the big
final
bad.
fi-
It was
the final
the
fight of
final
that one.
fight.
Yeah.
I thought I had died, and then there was a final fight after
No.
that.
it was
Well, I
in-
mean,
it
you
was
had
in the
died.
pit.
Because you went off by yourself, and
That's
you
what it
showed,
was.
and you got hurt, and then you showed up.
No one's
You
but
died,
dirty.
and then he brought you back and
Yeah,
made you
so
fight your friends.
he basically brought me back after I
Classic
was
D&D.
dead and made me fight my whole, group of friends.
Cool story, Seth.
And
Sounds pretty
then
original.
near the because you did the same thing.
Yeah.
Let's face it, everyone's done that.
But
staple
unlike
of
you,
gonna
mine
say.
was brought back to life.
Unlike
so.
you, mine was cool. Mine was also brought back to
No,
life.
Kurt's was it really?
I'm telling you, literally,
Seth was a good
every
listener,
DM,
too.
every DM
Cliche.
thinks of this. They're like,
It's gonna be so cool.
Bring it back
bring
to
it
fight
back
his
to
friends.
fight his
Well, then
Fight
somebody's
your
like,
own party.
I did this thing, my DM, and they were like, oh yeah, that happened to me too.
Yeah. Oh,
It was
hey,
really cool,
listen,
though.
It happened
No,
to
it's
me, and I
always
played the
cool.
least amount of
It
D&D
also
out of
happened
all
to
of
Tyler.
us. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
did.
Yes, that's what.
So anyway, but the fun moment of it was the fact that I fought the party and they still won. And near the end, Kurt's character prayed to his deity,
I think we talked about this last
which
time.
was
We
the
did
Raven-
talk about it on the
which
last
was the
live.
Raven
Actually, no.
Queen,
So good.
and he rolled a
Jennifer.
natural 20 to bring my character back, and he was revived basically. And it was so cool. And I still remember the line I gave when I woke up, and it was the only line I gave at the end of the podcast. It was, "Did we win?" It was after everybody
So
returned. It was so fun. And then Kurt actually gave me the dice that he rolled the natural 20 on. I still have it at home.
Oh wow.
With my with my Gizmo Mini that I used. So, yeah,
Amazing.
that's my story.
So legit.
Nice.
Whoever DM'd that. Pretty cool guy. Okay, Kurt.
original idea.
Yeah, I was part of a. This was probably first year of high school, second year of high school. So
In the 80s?
You got
some
the touch.
The 2080s. He was
some
living in
years
the
ago.
future.
Anyway,
28.
my character at one point we had faced the big baddie's like right hand man, and he had stabbed my character at some point, and it looked infected. So we had to take my character. He gave me like a stage of exhaustion, so we had to go find like a witch doctor.
Was it a Vorpal blade?
It was not, but it had a curse attached to it that the witch doctor told me about,
Been there.
and I could tell my party whether or not I was going to die. And I had a long talk with the DM, and we both decided that my character wasn't going to tell the party.
Oof.
So we went through this
Tasty.
whole thing because we essentially how the story was going. We didn't have time to go looking for a cure, so it was either we go look for a cure, and this big baddie could win, or we go fight this dude. So at the very end, when we kill him, he like had this huge epilogue and all these things, and it was really cool because it was like I actually got to see the big baddie die, but then
That's cool.
as we're raising glasses in triumph, my character's like, "Hey,
That's cool.
I'm out," and then died.
Holding your side. His blood's pouring out of it.
I don't know if you guys know.
But like it was a really the way that he did it was just really cool because it was. I think I actually mentioned this was the same campaign that I had mentioned before in our last live where a member of our party had to move away for work.
Yeah.
And we came back and like the town had built a shrine to that character.
So dope.
So it was just such a cool experience that he was so involved in his own story and his campaign that he was like, hey, he pulled me aside and made everybody else leave. He was like, if you don't go and take time to
You're
find
gonna
this,
die.
you're going to die. And so I was like, this dude wouldn't do that because we'd been playing for almost a year and it's like, I can't, we're so close.
that
And,
level
yeah,
of
it was just such a
investment.
great
That's dope.
like story. And yeah, I love that. That was probably the one that meant the most to me where I was like, this is what a good story and a good character death
Freaking love
is
it.
meant to be.
So sick. Okay.
What's your totally unique character death?
Totally unique, not like anyone
I know you have
else's.
so many.
No, listen, I skipped the part with resurrection and betrayal and what have you, because it's more like, for me, the stuff that meant the most, and talked about this last time, won't reiterate too much. Just there we were, like some of the most cinematic, if you will, D&D like playing like sessions I've ever had, where it's like we're in this dungeon, we've traveled all this way to get to this point. We're like, deep in this cavern. We solved some puzzles. We did some stuff. And then there we are just with this horde of villains, and one of them being kind of like a mini boss, if you will. Like, I feel like, if that's the way to label that character.
No, keep
Sorry,
talking.
I'm very interested. in
Eric's just like, let me do
My
something
bad.
else.
Let me interrupt the
Totally.
story.
I've told my
No,
story.
not,
Yeah.
not interrupt.
No one
I'm
else is
just distractible.
original.
I'm
Put it on
distractible.
straight if you're
I
gonna
just
put
wanted
it
to
on,
have fun,
gosh.
and you guys got real mad
No,
about
no,
it.
it was
Yeah.
fun. I liked it. It
we
was so
did.
fun.
Bunch of
Thanks for
dads.
interrupting.
So fun. I
Something
enjoyed it
called
so much.
respect, son.
What?
It's about time you learn it. Go sit in
What
the
does it
corner.
mean to you?
Go sit in the corner.
But the corner's occupied.
I know it is.
No, yeah, just it was yeah. Everybody in the party had like their group of people they were fighting. Nobody believed we were gonna make it out except for me. And then yeah, I don't know. My character was just this little dude who was just really like full of hope and kind of, I don't know, not childish but childlike. And he
Young and hot.
Young literally. He was
End
40
of
years
age.
old. Yeah, like but yeah, no. And then he was the only one to die on that go around. And I just, yeah, I remember at the time just how much it messed me up because it was, I don't know. Already life was like pretty rough. And then I was like, and then they took away the little homie. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have all the story implications of that. I remember who the villains were and I remember the scenario. Like it's still burned into my mind everything I saw that night.
It was
And
crazy
cool.
because that was like at the end of a dungeon crawl where we had like the
pretty
party
long.
had gotten down like 2 or 3 times through it,
Yeah.
and then it was like one of us would make it through and get the rest of the party up, and then we'd heal and go into another fight and do the same thing where 3 of us would get down and then one of us would get the rest of them up, and then that one was just too much for us.
It was,
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we
it was
lost
one too
you.
many. We barely
It was
made it. You had like the 1
Dude,
HP to come back,
yeah,
and you
it was
saved everybody.
insane.
Dude.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Total rough dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
Chat's been going crazy.
Hey,
All right.
Heck yeah.
Khaleesi Casey asked, "What's the rule of cool?" And then Lorian Ray said, "That's what I was wondering."
did somebody say something about that?
I think maybe one of us did, I guess. Or maybe it sounded like we did. I don't know. But anyways, Tama comes back with a thing from Google that says player characters should be allowed to attempt especially cool actions, generally not allowed by the rules of the game. In such cases, the GM or group collectively may need to make rulings on how such an action should be adjudicated.
The rule of cool.
Which is
Maybe
kind of what we've
mentioned-
talked about before, where it's just like, let your characters or let your players do cool stuff as a DM.
Yeah.
And then Chief Asian mentioned his only death, and it was in a one-shot that I DM'd for him.
Incredible.
His character's name was Woos Brain, and he drowned in a river. So
Wait, it took me a second. Woos
Woos Brain. Yep.
Drowned in a
Drowned
The
in a
Matt
river.
Band. I
Yep.
get it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. Oh, sorry. Jeez Louise. Apparently Tama asked what we thought about it.
Yeah.
About the rule of
Yeah.
cool?
Yeah.
I was going to say it was probably mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about it last time, but and kind of like what Kyle said, let your players do cool stuff. I mean, I think if you want to play a campaign that's very like strict and stuff, where you're going to require components and make sure that everybody has enough rations and do weight encumbrance and everything like that, then maybe steer away from the rule of cool. You know, if you're going to do super like realism hardcore campaign, but otherwise, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all playing D&D because we want to have a cool imaginative thing where we all feel cool,
Yeah.
Agreed.
you know. And so freaking
We all
get the
just
rule
wanna
of cool
feel
in
cool.
there.
I can't remember which one of your campaigns it was, but
For
someone
Simulation?
tried to do something with some it may have been Seth's, the very
This is
first.
the first one.
Yeah, where you're like, want to do this flourish, and then
I gotta
Seth
roll
made
to
him
look
roll.
cool?
Yeah, and I was like, you got to roll to look
It was
cool.
Gonna look like
It was
Clark?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look like a
yeah,
loser
yeah.
this whole time.
So
Yeah.
Play like Clark this whole time?
Yeah, it was me. I wanted to like,
You wanted to-
spin my trident in the air
Yeah.
and stab it.
I
And he was
remember.
like, you have to roll. And I was like,
I remember when I didn't let you do
yep.
it.
Seth's
I mean,
a
like-
real hard ass.
no, but I mean, like,
Seth is
at
the
that
least
point, it
hard
does
ass I
make
know.
sense
It's like sitting
because
on
it's
concrete.
like you could mess it up there. Like if you spin your trident, you could let it go.
I want
and
you
it
to
could fly
oofta.
off in the distance.
Honestly, my favorite part about D&D is the consequence of flaws, like the consequence of rolling and wanting to do something, but learning from the downfall of that roll.
Sure.
I love that so much.
I think it depends.
on what the fuck. No, okay, I don't know.
I was gonna say I think it
was
depends
the-
on how cool the thing is. Like
J-Lo-
if you want to spin your weapon, then it's like just roll to make sure you don't fail. What's up? Sorry.
J-Lo's
Go.
bad.
Jalafet just said the kobold kebab. You got it. Yeah, exactly.
That's
Remember.
it.
Got
He was there,
him.
he listened.
You've been listening.
Kebab.
Kebab-a-gool.
Because like if it's something simple where you want to just spin your weapon, just roll to make sure you don't get a crit 1.
Yeah.
And if it's like a 2, yeah, you do it. Or if it's like I want to run off a cliff, do a backward half tuck, and land on my fingers, like
See,
yeah, roll for that because that is
yeah,
insane.
Because good night.
You know, like there's a gauge for the rule of cool. I think.
I feel like there's definitely
Sorry, Thomas said we're making him hungry with the kebab.
Kebab-a-gool.
Kababagool?
Dang, I bet they have some great kebabs.
D&D is where you can go
Stinky.
do and be
You're
just
stinky.
about whatever you want. LOL, this is what I love about it.
Oh.
Plus, you can't exactly predict what will happen next because every player is a variable aside from the
I love
dice
that.
too. Exactly.
For me, the rule of cool, like 100%, I think that deems what is paid off by an inspiration dice. Like whenever someone decides to make a cool like decision with their character, absolutely, an inspiration dice comes out from that. As a DM.
Yeah.
So
I think, though,
do you think?
unpopular opinion time,
Ooh, hot takes.
that with the rule of cool, something's only cool when, like, stuff isn't cool. You know what I mean? Like, so I do think if you're playing rule of cool, no? Seth says no?
sorry, I'm responding to someone else.
Oh,
in here.
okay.
We're
I
good.
was like, oh. When everyone's cool, no one is.
You want
Um,
contrast.
truly,
'cause
truly.
Yeah,
When
you got to have
everyone's
that
super,
contrast.
no
So
one
it's
will
that
be.
classic like rule of cool, but then in some instances, I think it's okay if you are playing in a rule of cool for the DM to be like, nah, not this time. Like, but if the circumstances work, but but I also think
That's
that
not that hot a take.
levels, like
It's spicy.
at a certain point, you should really just be able to like have those flourishes and stuff
It's also
without,
it's-
because it's like if you're this famed fighter that's going around and stuff, like
Maybe you're not
maybe in
gonna
a
fumble,
stressful
yeah.
situation or something, but like on the average and stuff.
Well, again,
Yeah.
and we talked about it last time. Is if your character at the end of every fight spins their weapon and puts it in the ground, sure, it's going to become easier for you. It's just going to be a thing that you do. If your character goes around flipping off a crap all the time,
Yeah.
it's going to be something that they just do.
Yeah.
But if out of nowhere you're like, I want to do a backflip,
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, but-
Why?
Yeah.
You're
That's
300 pounds.
Because you're in the
I don't know
mood
why
today.
you,
Like,
doing a backflip is going to be a little bit difficult for your giant man.
Can you imagine if Obi-Wan had to roll to do the cool flourish that he does before he takes that thing out in Attack of the Clones?
Hello there.
You know what I'm
but
talking about?
he'd already rolled so many times as a Padawan.
He's too
he no
cool.
longer
Yeah,
Yeah,
had
I was gonna
to.
say that
Yeah,
kid
that's
was
the-
rolling
He had it.
flourishes his
Dice
entire
free this
Padawan
time.
career.
Dice free. Yeah.
That's all he was doing.
Dice free.
He almost wanted to keep the ponytail because it looked so cool.
That was pretty
yeah.
cool. Sick. We've gotten some good questions from
Very
the
good
chat. Good
questions.
not compliments, comments. Khaleesi Casey says, oh, yeah, there has to be consequences. It's amazing when they try and totally fail. Thomas says, like the difference between a nat 20 and a nat 1.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
I jump in after you go?
I was about to say, I think that takes more finesse. A nat 1 takes more finesse than a nat 20. Because a nat 20, it's pretty much just like, whatever you're trying to do, like, awesomeness prevails. But the nat 1, man, it's way easier for a DM to just kind of, like, go off the rails with a nat 1.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we've
then
all
the-
been
and
on
then
the
the earth
receiving end.
splits
We've all
open
been on
and-
the dishing it out
It's
end.
hard.
Like,
It's hard.
it's a fine line to be like, what's
Didn't-
still realistic? What's,
In the campaign that I DM'd for you,
yeah.
didn't you crit failed on something, and I made you like trip
Oh,
over
my
a
first one.
helmet
Yeah.
or something?
Which totally worked perfect because I snuck my way into this camp
that
as
was
this
so good.
dumb little level 1 rogue.
I remember
Hey.
this.
And it's like the king
remember
or just
this,
like the
yeah.
captain of this army.
Yeah,
And
Love
I
level
was like,
1.
I want to kill him.
right.
And you're like, roll, baby.
Go
And
for
I
it.
rolled high enough and I did it. And then I tried to sneak back out and I rolled a crit 1 and I turned around and tripped
Over the dude's
the
helmet.
classic. I trip on his helmet, I fall out of the tent, and then I start hear people waking up, and I just was like, I get up and run. I don't try to be quiet, I just run. And then we had to run away and we had to jump into this river and like
Yeah, see,
So like
That's
that,
So fun.
using it where it's like, yeah, that little thing can be a chain reaction. It's a fairly realistic thing. Yeah.
I think so. As a DM, mostly, how hard do you go on your players' crit fails, and like, is it determined by situation? Is it determined on
Yeah.
how you're playing or what they're doing? Like, if they're being super risky and they do a crit 1, do you go harder, or is it kind of just like a baseline, like a crit fail? You do not want to get it because it's going to suck so bad every time.
does anybody else here come up with a table of DCs? Because whenever I'm
I
coming
don't.
up with my stories, if they're so, for example, anytime you guys talk to anybody, little insight to how I DM. Now you guys are going to know this. If there's a
Cracked
certain
them.
plot point that is available through dialogue or through something that you can gain from that person, I make up a table saying if they roll this number to this number, they fail. This number to this number, he'll disclose this information. This and above, he'll tell everything.
Yeah.
And so I think it's situational for sure, not only on what's going on, but also how it applies to the story you are, as the DM, are trying to push forward.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I feel like that would really help. I don't know, just
I think
for
that's
like
a smart
for
way
like
to
a
do it.
beginner, beginner level
If you're
person. I think that
smart.
would help.
If you're smart, I think that's a good way to do it.
Well, no, because like
I find myself not doing that very often, and it's bad.
I've
can I
never
talk
done
about
that.
my campaign? Is it cool to talk about the campaign that's out right now that people?
Yeah,
can listen
everything's
to?
out. If
So,
you haven't listened yet,
There's a
well,
moment
Yeah, for real.
in the campaign.
I mean, are you talking about the very end?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say let's maybe keep.
I'm talking about so during my campaign, it's at sea. We showed it it's a sea adventure, and there's a moment in it where I gave you guys plenty of opportunities. Some were taken, some weren't, to talk to the captain. And there's a DC table that I created for whether or not he would disclose if he would tell you about the vials on the ship and things like that. And luckily, the first time someone started questioning about it, they failed. But there's a moment where Lenny talks to him about it, and he succeeded. And so that's the first thing that came to my mind that's applicable to us, is that table came in handy. Okay, he's in that. Then I could easily flip to that table, and I could know, okay, have this conversation, whatever dialogue, make him roll, check your table. He passed, disclose this information. It made my job way easier.
You're blowing my mind with this right now.
Simplify
That's
it,
so
dude.
cool.
I love that.
That's
really
so cool
smart,
to know that
yeah.
about that episode too.
Yeah.
Like, because I was,
And that's not
editing
I
that
learned that
moment.
from another DM that I had that
Well,
he helped me out with.
I think that's a
taking
good way
that.
to do it
That's
because,
great.
like, if my compatriot fails at talking to somebody, your system allows me to also try talking to them and maybe find more success, even if I don't say anything particularly well. With my role play, if I just roll a little bit better, it might just go better for me.
That being said, you can
know.
adjust that table. Like, let's say that
moods
Lenny
and
was talking
stuff.
to the captain and you were there with him, and he failed miserably, but he's been talking with the captain for the last hour. If you just walk in and ask the exact same question, your save that I'm going to make for you is going to be much higher than
Way
his
higher,
was.
yeah.
Because you're just coming into the
Well, and you work
conversation.
it down, and we talked about it last time. The more you role play and like explain something or whatever, that DC goes down and down and down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I think it's really hard because sometimes I feel like we fall into the trap. I'll answer this, and then I'll answer your whole one question that
Sure.
you had.
Yeah.
We fall into the trap of like, well, I guess I can't tell the party this information, and maybe not like you say everything, but I feel like there's times where it's like, oh, they didn't do this thing, so I guess they're going to be in the dark for a long time. Like, I think we need to always remember, like, yeah, it's okay to find a new way for your players to learn this one bit of stuff that's gonna help them like know a direction to go.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, so what are you guys gonna do?
Yeah,
and it's
'cause-
like, I don't freaking know. We've been trying everything.
and
It's like,
that's the-
yeah, you have.
Because maybe if
And,
if they can't get it out of the captain, you have a cabin boy come up and be like, "Hey, I heard the captain talking earlier about this
Exactly.
thing." You know, like
Exactly.
it's very important. But they
Right,
just
right.
because that way it's not just your captain going, "Okay, I'll tell you."
Well,
you
and that
know,
was-
like,
you
you
know,
know,
it
like,
just gives
well-
just bad DM.
yeah.
But that was why Adel did have the manifest.
Yeah.
That was another
Exact-
thing
yeah, I
of
was gonna
like,
say, you
if
had
they
to find a
fail,
way.
I have this
you got to
ready to go that
safeguards in
he's
for
going to bring it
yourself.
up.
Yep.
Yes, love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, way to
That's
be,
dope.
man.
Lorian Ray says we're going to kind of turn away from your question. They've got
That's
one
just
that's
fine. Go
important.
for it. They're way
My
better.
D&D group is fairly new. We're taking turns being the DM to
Hey.
essentially see who
Hey.
enjoys being the DM the most.
Nice.
Nice.
It is coming up on my turn to DM for the first time. Do you guys have any advice on how to start your first campaign?
Yes.
Hey,
Boy, is
don't
this
start it in a tavern. I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
this one is a
No,
don't start
loaded
it.
question,
Yeah.
but we love it.
just go
I think we
around.
just need to go around.
Yeah, let's go around.
For sure.
Start over there.
I would say the first thing is you're going to want to build your lore out and flesh out your world and get every last corner. And maybe not, like I know every single building and every single name of every single NPC, like maybe not quite that much. But in your mind, you're going to be like, I need to have all of these questions answered already. And that's just not even true.
won't be
You
ready.
need to know where you want to get your story to eventually. and you need to know like a good hook at the beginning, and then let it roll. Just kind of go. Have a few NPCs created that can kind of flex and shift to be who you need them to be, but then just let your players take you where they're going to go, because guess what? You could spend a full 24 hours straight fleshing out your campaign, getting session 1 ready, and it all hinges on them turning right, and they'll turn left, and everything you did is going to be like, oh, and then you just have to find a way to rework that later on. So just know where you want to go, know where you're going to start, and then just have a couple NPCs and locations in your back pocket and just kind of let it go. So that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent thing. I run into that so much of wanting to flesh out too much. The way that I like to plan campaigns, but mostly like one-shots, especially if you guys are kind of rotating, is I like to plan like an event, like what's the big thing that they're going to do. Is it like a race? Is it a big fight? Is it a like a diplomatic like a delivery? What is it? What is the thing that they are going, that ultimately they're doing? Because once you've planned that, whether it's okay, it's going to be a big fight. They're going to fight this guy, and this guy. Okay, now why are they going to fight these guys? You know, I think you start at the middle with the target, and then you just slowly go out until you feel comfortable with it, you know, until you find the tavern that they start at or whatever, you know. Because one of the first one-shots that I did was for Kyle and 2 of my buddies that I went to college with. And I was like, okay, I want to have them fight these guys. I want to have them fight somebody. And then I was like, okay, who could I have them fight? And then I had been creating like a big world in my spare time. And I was like, oh, I have these islands that I really like. I could have them fight these 3 kings.
Pause. Khaleesi Casey's going to be leaving soon. Bye.
Khaleesi
Thank
Casey,
you,
you're the
Khaleesi.
best.
Thanks for
Bye.
stopping
Have fun
in.
on your
Also,
cruise.
Love you so much.
Yeah, have fun.
Khaleesi Casey said something. You can be creative. Just practice. Play more D&D. Have fun. Don't stop yourself from playing because
It
you're
comes
worried
with the
about not being
practice.
creative enough.
Yeah.
Just play more and more.
Just play.
You're great.
When you get back in town, reach out to us and we'll see what we can do.
It's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
It's gonna happen.
But like I was saying, so I was like, oh, I have these guys. They can fight these guys. Okay, this is how the fight will work. Oh, it'll be really magic inclusive and all of these things. And I was like, okay, but that's there. How am I going to get my party there? Well, they'll start in another place. It'll be like an assigned mission. And then before you know it, you have your entire thing planned out, you know, and then you have that framework and you can drop your players in it and you do the lining essentially, and then you drop them in and they color it in more beautifully than you could ever imagine.
Love that.
So I think that's my main advice for either a big campaign or a smaller one-shot type of thing, is start with one thing that you can build everything else around. I have a buddy who he will get his villain. His villain is the first thing that he gets, and then he compounds from there. So that's my advice, is find one thing that you can really just flesh out and then ripple effect out.
Love it.
Go. Okay.
Go.
So, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing about DMing is
The D.
or the M, either one really. No,
mastering.
the idea is it's not the DM creating a story; it's a collective of storytellers coming up with the story together. Don't focus so hard on making them be in your story. Focus on letting them decide how they want to play your story. Basically, you are setting some boundaries, but you're not putting up walls for their decisions. That's really
It's like
what it comes
guide
down to.
ropes.
What?
It's like guide ropes more than walls.
Yeah, and they're allowed to
girl
step out of
ropes.
them and allow that fear,
Guidelines, really.
that fear that you don't want them to step out of boundaries. That's when you truly discover like your capability, in my opinion, as a DM, when you're running on the fly with a decision that someone made that's out of the boundaries of what you've created. I have made some of the most incredible moments and characters as a DM just because someone wanted to step out of the boundaries of my world. And so that's truly the opinion I would say. Don't be afraid to let your players step out of the boundaries. Don't let them take advantage of you, obviously, but like let your players have fun. That's really what it comes down to. So.
We do have a shift in questions. If maybe we start with you with this
Sure,
new question. Great answer, by the way, Seth. Love that.
Yeah, for real.
Tama says, how do you guys plan how the characters meet?
Ugh.
So how do you pick where you start off
It's a tavern.
and everything like that? Yeah, it looks like J. Lo Fett says that's how he started his one shot. Like that's what started the ball rolling for him on that. So what do you do, Kurt? How do you decide?
Well, I think it differs on if you're running a one-shot or a long-form. The good thing about a long-form campaign is that you ask your characters what they want to get out of the campaign, which we've talked about. You see how that applies and fits within your narrative that you're trying to create, or that you hope that your players and you can create together.
Love that.
And then you tie that in. I think that's where you see a lot of people really succeed at it, where you have maybe a group here or a player here come to this central location, but one is looking for one thing and this group is looking for a different thing, and somehow you relate their goals together, and it almost is a natural like, well, you want that and I want that, kind of, so why don't we work together, rather than a lot of the go-to things. If it's a one shot, I think it comes down more to a discussion beforehand, especially if it is a true one shot, one session only. I think, I could be wrong here, but in my opinion, I wouldn't have you guys meet at this place. I would already most likely have you guys already together. That way we don't have to deal with, well, I don't like you, but let's go persuade me to fight with you and things like that.
Yeah.
You're already together. We're here for an hour and a half, 3 hours, 6 hours, whatever your one session is. You're already together. And I may get some flack for that, but that's how I would do it for a one shot.
I think that's
Solid.
good.
Yeah.
Good
Solid.
town.
Yeah, I mean, if Aristotle taught us anything, is that drama takes time.
Here we
so,
go.
like, if you want if you're really trying to be like the whole, like, well, I don't mess with you, but, like, begrudgingly I'll work with you, it's like, you can't do that in one session.
If drama
Doesn't work
takes
that
time,
way.
how come soap operas are only an hour long?
Oh, but they run forever.
Imagine.
Ever.
and ever.
See,
That's why
General
it's like,
Hospital has
think
so
it-
many
think it
episodes.
through.
It's true. We've looked it up.
Jeez. How to get around just the tavern? Honestly, I don't know. I don't have for real DMing experience like that.
I don't think the tavern
I'm
is
not
necessarily a
opposed to the tavern.
bad idea.
It's a cliche.
Right.
It's an obvious
right,
cliche,
that's what I'm
but it's
saying.
not a
just
bad thing.
everybody's, yeah. Unless you can, like, work out some way, like, you've got one character that's not the main character, but if you could, like, I guess sit down with a player and be like, hey, we'll start with you, and then you'll organically meet this person this way, and maybe that's, like, not a predetermined interaction, but, like, I don't know.
I
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys say?
Bringing a party together can happen in a lot of ways. I think if you're doing like a longer form campaign like Kurt was talking about, that's where a session 0 can come in beautifully with each one of your
Absolutely.
players.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
if like Kurt was saying, if you work with them through that first session, you're like, okay, I know what they want. You get to this area and you start looking around for people who might have some information.
Okay.
And then you give one of your other players, they play through their session 0, and at some point they get a piece of paper that has some information on it that character A is looking for, and character B has been told to give it to somebody.
Cool.
So you
And then character
purposefully-
C is actually
seeing
looking for that person.
yeah,
So, yeah.
So you give
that's
you
kinda what
give
I
a way
love
for them
that.
to naturally intersect together, or I think, I mean, whenever you have a campaign, unless you're being a brave DM that's just going to a game store and playing for a bunch of randos,
Which is so epic.
that's
Yeah,
insane. Good on you.
wowee.
But I mean, like, I think you have a discussion as a group and being like, okay, this is what's kind of going to happen in the campaign. How do you guys want to get to know each other? Like, do you want to start knowing each other, or do you want to have like a little thing? Because like you can put up a thing on a bounty board, and they're the first 3 to grab it, and they go and do this bounty, and then at the end of it, a guy's like, "Oh, I need you guys to do this thing together," or "Oh, that bounty that you brought in had a curse on him, and now the 3 of you have all the same curse, and you have to go and get rid of it." Like,
Yeah.
I like that.
there's so many ways to tie your characters together, but also a tavern.
I think
There's
Yeah,
nothing-
why not?
with what you
there's
were
not
saying, I think
anything too wrong with
a
it.
good thing to mention is if you are going to a lot of game stores, when you go DM, they are running an adventure book, and that kind of gives you a good knowledge of what's going on, because then the story is going to adhere to the book.
I love that.
I think the
I
thing
love
that you run into is when you go DM at a gaming store or at a convention, is if these players have been playing together for a while, the character interactions is your dark area that you're not quite sure how that happens.
Or you could just kidnap everyone and bring them to a void. Like,
Yeah,
That's also
Wow, that is
forcible,
also
forcible
good.
friendship is
Absolutely.
a real easy way.
I also
It
think
doesn't have to be a void. You could do a jail or a basement or something.
It's true,
Starting in
though.
jail
It's
is a
true.
good way too.
Dang,
Yeah.
we love a
Prison, yeah.
dungeon.
I
That's
think at the
fun.
end of the day as well, like the beginning is such a small part of the story that you're going to be telling. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's rough,
They'll forget.
they'll forget. They'll become friends.
Yeah.
Cooler
They'll
stuff will
forget.
happen.
They'll forget by next session.
So there you go. Smoking Barrel says,
Wait.
I have a dope idea for far away in the future on how my players will meet. It's going to be sick.
It's-
Cannot wait.
that's my wife Tegan, and it's a dope idea.
Okay, well, Seth can't play because he already knows. So we can't wait to play.
Yeah, I
Just
was going
hit
to
me
say,
in the head.
I'm excited to play.
Seth will
It's not
run
allowed to
the
come.
the switchboard and the four of us will play.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Blue Eyed Darkness is in the chat.
Hey, Blue Eyed Darkness.
She
Hey-o.
says, hope you're all doing well. Her one shot was success.
Yeah.
Hey,
Good to hear.
Had so much fun.
good.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking us for advice and everything. They're working on getting the recording uploaded soon.
To
So
YouTube, yeah.
Let us know. I
but
would
they
love
wanted
to listen to
to,
that.
to hop on and let us know.
We
so
will share a link to it or whatever.
that's awesome. Yeah, as soon as we know,
Soon as
we'll
we get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
spread that out. Also, Strikers Apothecaries here. What's up? What's up?
Hey.
Heck
What's
yeah.
up?
Hey.
He's donated
Striker
a ton, by the way.
striking
Dude,
again.
Strikers,
What a
you're
hero.
the freaking
Thank
Striker
you so
strikes
much.
again.
Thank you
Love
so,
your
so
TikToks.
much. Appreciate it.
They're good stuff.
Yeah.
He says, I had a DM once give all of us players 4 private sessions each to build up some backstory and emotions before slowly joining us all together on the same adventure. It was weird but amazing. Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Pre-sessions before the campaign. It's
Yeah.
so good.
And they don't have to be long.
Nope.
No.
You
Well,
know
the
what I mean?
nice thing
Like-
with those is,
They can be.
and the nice thing with those is usually they can just be like, it's just like, let's just rock story. We're not going to be rolling a bunch. We're not going to be, every now and then it's, you're going to roll a persuasion. You're going to roll a stealth to see if this can happen. But it's like, that's one thing that I really like is because I did that with the Woods Cross campaign that we did.
Yeah.
And even though one dude did do a lot of like fighting, it was just more kind of like, this is to help build the story. Like, I'm going to do what the narrative needs to happen to get you where you need to be, sort of thing. And,
Yeah.
and so
I think it's also a good way to make all of your characters feel like they are the main character because they have this little pre-story coming in and then they get with the group and then they all feel like they are equally contributing because they all have something they're coming
Oh,
from.
yeah.
Because I think
And
when you
you-
start as a group, sometimes you're like, oh, yeah, I'm just part of the group. But when you have those private sessions before, it's like, yeah, I have my own story that I've got staked in
Yeah.
this.
Also,
you need a real ensemble.
Yep.
guess what?
Chicken
Blue Eyed Darkness, her one shot that she did, everyone started out in jail. So
Hey!
what are the chances? Once again, originality in D&D, in creativity,
Eventually,
in
you
any
can't
form.
take it, yeah.
It's
But I'm sure it was incredible.
no,
regardless of the
so
number.
awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it. Cannot wait to see
Or
it.
jail
Sure.
when
We're
nobody
excited.
else has done anything.
Yeah, and then Thomas says, sounds pretty awesome, to be honest, especially planning the jailbreak, too.
Yep.
Who doesn't love a jailbreak, right?
Yeah.
Quick way to bond people.
So legit.
Amen to that.
Well, we're past an hour, folks.
Oh,
I think
sheesh.
We are.
I think we're how many do we have on TikTok watching currently?
There's 4 right now.
4 right now.
Well,
8,800 likes.
Holy cow.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, we're
People on TikTok
doing
killing
okay.
it.
Rainbow Kitty and Striker are both just hitting that like button like crazy.
You guys are the best.
We
Oh
love,
my
we love
gosh.
a real one. Thank you.
Freaking Striker, double down.
Little bits of news and stuff to lead up.
For those of you that stuck around,
Yeah, for everyone that's
some
here.
nice news for you.
Hey.
Obviously be getting ready to cast your votes at the end of season 1.
Ugh.
The final chapter starts honestly, hopefully this week.
It's coming.
Hopefully this week.
No, Wednesday. We got it.
Yeah, we got it.
It's Monday now.
It's going to be available to watch and or listen to.
It was
We filmed
recorded
it in
live.
in our old studio, so it's going to be a good time. You get to see our ugly mugs actually reacting to stuff.
Not
And,
relaxing. Not relaxing.
Not
Definitely
relaxing.
reacting.
Maxing, relaxing.
So that's a fun time. But yeah, and then on top of that, yeah, there's other fun stuff to come, obviously.
It's crazy that we're getting close to that vote because we've been talking about
Yeah.
it since the beginning
For so long.
and now it's
Yeah.
a thing that's actually going to
happening.
happen
It's
soon.
what,
Some crazy stuff.
Blowing my mind.
We
Blue
can't wait.
Blue Eyed Darkness is throwing all sorts of donations in here.
Goodness
Oh.
gracious,
Seriously,
you guys.
I mean,
you
and
so
for
much.
those
Darkness
that
or
may not have been
content.
here the last
Too
time when we
kind.
made the announcement at the very end of season 1, we're holding a poll. You
Thank
vote for
you.
your favorite character,
awesome.
and that favorite character is staying for season 2.
Everybody else creates a
Yep.
new character, but that one that you had
Crazy.
to vote for, anonymous vote.
Sticks
for.
around.
Unfortunately, Clark does stick around for season 2.
You can't vote for Clark.
Regardless
What a
of
turd.
votes.
Unfortunately, we
Forcing
tried. We tried
directions.
some rewrites, but
Didn't work.
didn't work
Didn't
out.
work.
Head writer was a little stubborn, so
Yeah, but it's gonna be good times. It's gonna be fun stuff. When season 1 is done, in the interim, we got some fun stuff planned.
some sneaky
Yes,
little
we
bits.
do.
Fun
we
things
ever?
popping up. Strikers just says, "I still hope it's a 3-way tie." So
That'd be bananas. What
Yeah.
do we do then?
It'll
We
be
all
fun
cry.
stuff. Okay, well, we love you guys to death. Thank you all so much for everything you
watching.
do.
Thanks for stopping by, guys.
It means the world that you come and spend a little bit of time with us. We'll see you next Monday
Yeah.
and
Indeed.
in
make it
between
happen.
on TikTok and stuff. So I'm gonna go hit the button to stop the stream.
Tom,
do it-
thank you
I'll
for
do it
the
the same
Bye
compliment.
bye bye
time
bye
he
bye bye.
does.
Love you
Thank
bye.
you guys.
See you guys.
Thank you everybody on TikTok.
Thank you.
10,002 likes on TikTok.
10,002 likes on TikTok.
Hey,
That's
thanks,
insane.
guys.
Thank you guys so
You guys
much.
did great. Thank you.
Have a good night, Jay Lafette. You're the best.